Dale Evans, the adored Queen of the West, and Roy Rogers, the legendary cowboy, shared many heartwarming love stories throughout their lives. However, behind the scenes, Dale's path was characterized by hidden truths, heartache, and an unexpected revelation regarding her marriage that shocked everyone. As she finally faced the truth that had tormented her for decades, her last years were a roller coaster of emotional and physical anguish. When did Dale's deepest, darkest secret become too much for her to bear? The stunning cowgirl that you see on film now wasn't always Dale Evans. In Uvalde, Texas, she came into this world on October 31, 1912 as Frances Octavia Smith. Stability and tragedy characterized her formative years. Frances, whose nickname was Francie, lived with her uncle, the Osceola, Arkansas internist Dr. L.D. Massey, for a large portion of her youth. There was hope that living with her uncle would provide stability. However, difficulties and uncertainty persisted for the young Frances. Frances took a bold step when she was just 14 years old. Thomas F. Fox was her elopement partner. Thomas F. Fox Jr. was born to her when she was 15 years old. She had anticipated a fairy tale. But this was not it. Frances found herself as a single mother in Memphis, Tennessee, after her young husband left her only a year after they were married. All of a sudden, she found herself juggling the responsibilities of motherhood with her ambitions to become a musician. Frances, though, was hell-bent. While in Memphis, she performed vocals and piano at WMC and Rec, where she gained a modest fan base. It was a beginning, but there were challenges. By 1929, she had already gotten a divorce, and a future in music still looked far away. A new name followed, marking a major shift. A management at WOS in Louisville, Key, proposed a more interesting name while I was working there. One name, Dale Evans, would be simpler for newscasters to say. It was lively, energetic, and something you'd remember. A new name, Frances reasoned, might mean a fresh beginning, so she eagerly took it. Dale first established herself as a significant player in the jazz, swing, and big band scenes. People loved listening to her on the radio because her voice was powerful and smooth. Thanks to her impressive screen test performance, she was offered a contract by 20th Century Fox Studios. The spotlight had finally come to Dale, but there were conditions. Hollywood aspired for her image to exude innocence, purity, and a lack of scandal. Studio heads therefore concocted a plot. Instead of being a single mother, Dale was Tommy's, her teenage brother, loving an unmarried sister. Tommy was actually Thomas F. Fox Jr., her son. However, the information that was really important remained concealed. That was an excruciating lie. To maintain her job afloat, Dale was coerced into playing along. In her early career, Dale had a tangled love life. She remarried Fox after her first attempt at the union had failed. She wed August Wayne Johns in 1929. Even though it lasted until 1935, this marriage didn't produce any offspring or bring the couple any joy. Love and career were two areas in which Dale persisted. Robert Dale Butts, an arranger and accompanist who collaborated extensively with her music, was her husband in 1937. Collaboration, not desire, was the defining characteristic of their union. They collaborated on Dale's music career, but their relationship was rocky. Another marriage that had failed was the one between Dale and Butts, which ended in their 1946 divorce. Dale evolved into much more than her radio voice while she was at 20th Century Fox. A Hollywood celebrity was shaping her. Her reputation was thriving. The Edgar Bergen-Charlie McCarthy Show, when she was featured as a singer, it was a huge boost since it exposed her to more people. Dale's image as a cowgirl was also beginning to take form. Pink diamond cowboy boots and embroidered white leather gauntlets were trademark items in her attire that gave her rustic charm a glamorous edge. At the Flying L Ranch near Davis, Oklahoma on New Year's Eve 1947, Dale Evans wed Roy Rogers. This was no ordinary nuptial ceremony. Two legendary figures from Hollywood came together. Although this was Dale's fourth marriage and Rogers' third, they were an ideal combination. They were a popular on-screen couple for more than a year before they finally tied the wedding they met on the set of Home in Oklahoma. Their chemistry went beyond what was captured on film. They became business and personal partners and had a life full of ups and downs, triumphs and tragedies, and cowboy hats. Dale felt it was necessary to be forthright soon after the wedding. For a long time, the studios made it seem like her son Tommy was really her younger brother. Dale, who was now Rogers' husband, was prepared to clear the air. Not a sibling, but her son Tommy was she. Rogers welcomed Dale's son Dusty into his family after the truth broke. He had 3 children from a previous marriage: Cheryl, Linda, and Roy Jr. Robin Elizabeth, the couple's first child, was born in 1950. There was happiness at first, but then sadness. Many health issues befell Robin because of her birth defect, Down syndrome. Due to problems, she passed away just before her 2nd birthday. Despite her overwhelming sadness, Dale channeled her energy into a purposeful pursuit. About Robin's brief life, she penned Angel Unaware. It went beyond being a simple memorial. An appeal to alter how society views children who are impaired in some way due to developmental delays was made. In recognition of the profound influence she had, the Oklahoma County Council for Mentally Retarded Children was rechristened the Dale Rogers Training Center. For parents going through the same things, Dale kept penning books, mostly religious and inspiring works. After Robin, Roy and Dale continued. Additional children were taken into their care through adoption. Debbie, Dodie, and Sandy adding to their blended family. They did their best to offer a warm house for each of their children, despite their hectic work schedules. The on-screen connection between the 2 actors paid off handsomely. Their run on The Roy Rogers Show spanned 1951 to 1957. Roy rode Trigger and Dale hopped on her reliable buckskin horse, Buttermilk. They played cowboys and cowgirls on the show. Although Dale was the show's musical guest, he contributed much more than that. She infused the show with empathy and a message of faith, telling viewers to pray when they're down. However, Dale's attention was divided. She and Roy co-hosted the comedy western variety show The Roy Rogers and Dale Evans Show in 1962. Dale had already been vocal about her Christian faith at that point. She disseminated the news by means of her platform, on multiple occasions weaving religious ideas into the plot. At the Project Prayer Rally in Los Angeles' Shrine Auditorium in 1964, she fearlessly entered politics. After 2 Supreme Court rulings had invalidated the practice, the rally's organizers were hoping to reinstate the practice of forced school prayer. Standing before 2,500 people, Dale proclaimed, "It's high time that all America stood up to be counted. The Lord says, allow our children to learn and be free." Along with her, famous Hollywood figures such as Walter Brennan, Rhonda Fleming, and Pat Boone rallied behind the cause. Dale once again revealed her political leanings in the 1964 presidential race. She backed conservative Barry Goldwater, who stood firm for traditional American ideals. The endorsement from Dale wasn't merely lip service. She was an outspoken campaigner for Goldwater, whose message she felt was consistent with her Christian views. This was expected. Religion, family, and patriotism were the cornerstones of Dale's public identity. When the 1970s rolled around, Dale turned her attention back to music. In keeping with her religion, she released multiple solo albums of hymns and spirituals. The songs echoed themes of hope, love, and redemption in a straightforward but impactful way. Dale and Roy were beloved by Americans even as television evolved. New viewers were able to relive their youth when they watched their classic flicks aired on the Nashville network. Dale began a new chapter in his life in the 1990s. With the goal of sharing encouraging words of faith and hope with viewers, she debuted her own religious television program. She kept on talking about her life, the difficulties she encountered, and her firm faith that God had a purpose for everyone. Dale was a rock for Roy even as his health deteriorated. Their 50-year partnership came to an end in 1998 when he passed away. But she remained by his side throughout. Rogers and Evans bought a large ranch outside Chatsworth, California in 1955, and they eventually expanded it to 300 acres. 2 Western stars belonged in such a magnificent environment. Tragic events befell them despite the picturesque surroundings and their Hollywood triumph. A tragic accident involving a church bus claimed the life of their adopted daughter Debbie. 12 years old was her tender age. The devastating blow sent shockwaves through Dale and Roy. A church outing was supposed to be an enjoyable experience, but the disaster marred it. Debbie lost her life when the bus lost control. The loss devastated Dale. No parent should ever have to bury their child. She frequently referred to it as a darkest moment in her life. Loss of Debbie altered Dale's life. Worried that she hadn't done enough to keep her kids safe, she experienced overwhelming remorse. She continued to believe that Debbie was in a better place and stayed faithful to her faith despite her pain. Linked up with their late daughter Robin once more. After the catastrophe, Roy and Dale made a decision that would change their lives forever. The 67-acre Double R Bar Ranch in Apple Valley, California, replaced their cherished Chatsworth property. The memories of Debbie's death continued to plague Dale, even if it was a new beginning. She dove headfirst into her profession and kept up her public speaking about faith and tenacity. The tone Dale used changed, though. Her lyrics became more unfiltered and vulnerable as she began to address the realities of loss and the fight to maintain faith in the face of indescribable suffering. Although there were some bumps along the road, Dale and Roy remained companions throughout their marriage. As she became older, Dale started to talk about the hardships she had to overcome. Although she never publicly berated Roy, she did make passing references to the challenges they had as a family due to Roy's rigorous discipline and the demands of their professional lives. She spoke about how lonely it may be, especially when Roy was on set or touring. Even when her marriage ended, Dale remained truthful. Particularly concerning were the lies she felt compelled to uphold in her early career, which she detailed in her own regrets. She came clean about her son Tommy's biological father, but she still felt the lingering effects of the decision to falsely identify him as her brother. It was something she kept to herself, and it made the suffering she endured all the more unbearable. The strength of faith, family, and love remained a guiding light for Dale throughout his ordeal. Dodie, her daughter, frequently discusses the ways in which Dale's strength inspired her. According to Dodie, Mom was a very powerful woman. Tragic events befell her often, yet she never stopped pushing forward. Dale Evans was only 3 years younger than Roy when he died on February 7, 2001, at the age of 88. Even though her health slowly declined in her latter years, she never wavered in her determination to tell her tale and spread the gospel. In Dodie's memory, her mother's final days were serene, in which Dale says she is ready to be with Roy and her children in heaven when they reunite. Dodie frequently makes appearances at gatherings and shares anecdotes about her life as a Rogers Evans, carrying on her parents' legacy. She underlines that while her parents were beloved Hollywood stars, they were also regular people who experienced real problems. Dodie claims that Mom told the truth without hesitation. Sharing one's experiences, both good and negative, was important to her since she thought it was the only way to truly heal. Roy Rogers and Dale Evans were more than just famous actors, they were icons. They have influenced the Western genre and admirers of all ages, and their influence extends beyond the realms of Hollywood and country music. The Hollywood Walk of Fame bears witness to their indelible impact. At 6638 Hollywood Boulevard, Dale has a radio star, and at 1737 Vine Street he has a television star. These famous faces stand for more than just her achievements, they also symbolize her innovative energy in show business. In his own right, Roy Rogers possesses 3 stars. All of his film, TV, and radio stars congregate on Vine Street. This unique trio showcases his impact in various mediums. The Golden Boot Award was bestowed upon Roy in 1983, and he was subsequently honored with the Golden Boot Founders Award in 1996. Commemorating his influence on the American Western. Dale and Roy were both honored with Hall of Fame inductions in 1976 at Oklahoma City's National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum's Western Performers Hall of Fame. This was a just reward for 2 figures whose names have come to represent the West. When Dale was inducted into the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in Fort Worth, Texas in 1995, she made a triumphant comeback to the same Hall of Fame. The band that started Roy's career, the Sons of the Pioneers, also recognized him for being a founding member. Dale also created a stir in the music industry. Her 2002 ranking on CMT's 40 Greatest Women in Country Music was number 34. Her hit Happy Trails is a rallying cry for many, representing more than just a profession, it's a way of life. 2 inductions by Roy into the Country Music Hall of Fame solidify the couple's musical legacy. He was inducted twice, once as a member of the Sons of the Pioneers in 1980 and again as a solo artist in 1988. He remains the sole possessor of this double honor as of August 2022. Beyond the accolades and awards, the couple's impact goes far beyond the Palm Springs Walk of Stars, where they both share a Golden Palm Star that was given to them in 2001. Dale's influence extends to the field of lobbying. Her pioneering work with special needs children is memorialized by the Dale Rogers Training Center in Oklahoma. Through sharing her personal journey, she sparked empathy and transformed public perception of children with developmental challenges. Roy leaves an unusual taste in people's mouths. He took great pride in his Choctaw ancestry, and a confederation of Western Indian tribes honored him as Outstanding Citizen of the Year in 1967. Even as he became one of the most famous cowboys in the world, this honor demonstrated his commitment to maintaining Native American traditions. Their impact has extended to popular culture as well. Roy Rogers is mentioned in several songs, including Lyle Lovett's If I Had a Boat, Elton John's Roy Rogers, and Toby Keith's Should Have Been a Cowboy. Even Randy Travis's Heroes and Friends music video features a brief appearance by Roy. John McClane Bruce Willis in Die Hard says, "I was always kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually, while using Roy as a pseudonym." It's a small gesture, but it demonstrates how ingrained Roy's image is in American culture. Co-author of Cowboy Roy Rogers and Dale Evans's daughter Cheryl Rogers Barnett ensures that her father's legacy will continue. Intimately chronicling the love, hardships, and lessons learned from 2 of America's most popular stars, Cheryl's book offers a glimpse into life behind the scenes. Their status as cultural icons was further cemented in 2018 when the National Multicultural Western Heritage Museum admitted both Dale and Roy. Dale is an iconic figure because of the impact she has had on empowering young women, particularly those from disadvantaged backgrounds. Roy still thinks of him as the quintessential Western hero, a man who stands firm in his principles and never gives up no matter the odds. The Sons of the Pioneers are still playing Roy's iconic songs, and their videos never fail to motivate audiences. By attending events, writing memoirs, and generally keeping the cowboy ethos alive, the family does their best to ensure that their name is remembered for generations to come. Dale and Roy's tale is more than simply a celebrity romance. It's a story of steadfast commitment to their principles, love, loss, and faith. They surfed the waves of life's ups and downs with poise and dignity. As their theme song had promised, they maintained their smiles throughout.